first moment of like feeling really old the other day.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's not the first time I've like felt old to some degree, but I think it was the first time that somebody said or did something that wasn't intended to make me feel old, and it made me feel old.
Ooh, okay.
So I was talking to one of my coworkers, and she's a younger lass, and she's in college, and I was talking to her about her studies, what she's studying, how college is going for her, basic like small talk, like get to know you kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
And then after she was talking about it, she talked about some things that she found frustrating about her classes, and I was like, yeah, I get that. I only went to college for a couple semesters. It really wasn't for me. And she said back to me, she said, "Oh yeah, 'cause I bet the pandemic made it more difficult." And I was like, "Oh." I was sitting there like, when I had my first semester, the pandemic was not even a twinkle in a Chinese citizen's eye,
Yeah, it was like years away.
It was not even a possibility. There was not even a remote chance I could have gone to school. Hell, if I had kept up with school, I would have been graduating like as the pandemic first hit. So yeah, that made me feel old.
Yeah. Oh.
It was just like this. It was like this crushing feeling of like, no, not even close.
Yeah. I think maybe the first time that I really like felt old. The job I had before World Market, I worked with a lot of like college students, and I stuck it out. I worked there for a fairly decent amount of time. I think it was like 7 or 8 years almost. And I started when I was pretty young. I think I was like 18. But when I turned like 25 and all the new hires were like 18, that made me feel like the oldest person in the world.
Yeah.
And
it does that.
I mean, looking back, like 25 is not old at all.
No, yeah, that's the thing. Like, I fully recognize that I'm not exactly old over here, but it was just one of those things that it was like, no.
Oof. Well, welcome to the club. It only goes down from here, Mack.
Oh, good. It's just more of the downward spiral my life continues to trend towards.
Oh.
I peaked at my Berserk video. It's not going up from there.
Right? Oh man.
But hey, it's the 1 year birthday of our beautiful baby podcast, isn't it?
Yeah. So we're a year out from when we recorded. And I figured out the whole year zero thing that I was trying to explain last week, and it just wasn't translating.
No, I understand now after having heard you say it again, but it did not make sense to me at the time. You did not explain it well.
Right, because episode 1 comes out on launch day, so like 2 weeks after that, we released our 3rd episode. So it was 2 weeks in, but it was 3 episodes. So even though we had that 1 week where we skipped an episode, episode 52 will come out on the corresponding day that our first episode came out. So yeah, that's kind of what I was getting at.
I get it now, but at the time you were like, the year zero thing. You sounded like fucking Tim.
Yeah.
Year zero. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Oh, is it a computer or not?
But yeah, this is the 51st episode, which means it's the 52nd week since we started the podcast, because we did miss one episode. And I think that's pretty good. Only missing one episode in our first year is pretty damn good.
Yeah. No,
I missed it because I was moving and deathly ill.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think that's pretty impressive. Like we've talked about it a little bit on a few occasions, just, like how things got started with all this. And, I mean, neither one of us knew what to expect. We didn't know if we were going to like hate doing this after a month,
Right.
And I mean, who knows where it goes from here? I mean, maybe it's 10 years from now and it's still a thing. And
maybe this is the last episode.
Yeah, you really never know. So
anything could happen. Mike and I could get into some kind of like serious fight at the end of this episode that just ends the whole thing.
Yeah, it could be a thing. I don't see that happening necessarily this week, but you never know.
I mean, we do tend to get in fights right after the episode ends that we just cut out.
Yeah.
Like you said that one thing about race that I didn't really agree with last week, and I'm still not feeling great about that.
Oh, God.
Mike was saying some things that you guys would not be okay with, all right? Just so we're all on the same page.
Wow. Really? You're just gonna throw me under the bus like that?
Mike, I want you to understand that a lot of the studies on eugenics are super biased.
Okay, let's just clear this up. Mack is joking.
Yeah, good cover up there, Mike.
Yeah. But yeah, it's been a real ride for the first year.
That it has, and yeah, in order to kind of showcase that, I was thinking, I think one of our strong suits with our podcast is our titles and like a lot of the subjects that we cover.
Oh yeah. Well, because it's for the most part it's pretty random.
Yeah, and so I want to go down the list and read out the title of every episode we've put out and talk about those episodes and what we thought of the subjects, or even if we even remember what we talked about.
Okay, yeah, right on. Real quick before we get through that, because that's obviously going to take us a minute. There's quite a few episodes to get through. I know you're too young for remembering like what he was most known for, but man, Bob Saget died. How sad is that?
No, I mean I saw that. I know who Bob Saget is. I can't say I'm terribly upset about it.
I mean, like for people my age, he was like our TV dad. That was like a huge deal. But I know you're a How I Met Your Mother fan, and so, he did the narration.
I actually did not know that.
Oh, yeah. No, he's like Ted's voice.
I had no idea. That always kind of bothered me how like in the last episode they just switched back to normal Ted and the voice is gone, and it's like I get that it had to happen, but it's very alarming or like jarring.
I know. So it was on what? It was either like 9 or 10 seasons, and literally every episode Bob Saget narrates like future Ted telling the story until the final episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's just Ted with gray hair dye.
Yeah. Yep. And the other, thinking about that whole How I Met Your Mother thing, this was something that I stumbled upon yesterday. I know I've talked before. I really like there's a YouTube channel called Good Mythical Morning, and yesterday they just kicked off. It's weird that we kind of started like the same. Our anniversaries line up, but they just had their 10-year anniversary yesterday, and talking about How I Met Your Mother, Jason Segel like gave them their send off for like to kick off the start of season 10. So it all kind of came around full circle between wanting to talk to you about Bob Saget and How I Met Your Mother, and then Marshall is like on the anniversary podcast the day before we're recording our anniversary podcast. I thought that was kind of cool.
Sound like a bunch of old boomers.
Yeah, exactly.
Imagine having a 10-year anniversary. Actually, wait, we passed my 5-year anniversary for my YouTube channel. I didn't even think about that. God, that makes me feel old too.
Oh, geez.
The first video I ever put out came out on the 9th in 2017. So that was 2 days ago.
Damn. Well, congratulations.
Thank you. I do not, when I first started my channel, I did not imagine even slightly that I would still be doing it to this day with the small amount of success I've seen, not counting this past year.
Right.
I fully intended, like, I don't know if I talked about this story on stream or not, but I'll make it quick. Like, I took like a semester off school and set a ridiculous goal for myself of getting 1,000 subscribers in 1 month. And it didn't happen. It didn't even come close to happening, but I fell so in love with it that I was just like, fuck it, man. I don't want to go back to school. School sucks. And I just kept doing YouTube. And, well, now I hit it. So at least I did it before the 5-year anniversary.
Right. Well, I remember it was, I'm pretty sure it was either like, I think it was like just after we started doing the podcast, you know, because we made that Captain's Kitchen a couple years back, and that for like a long time was your highest viewed video. And I remember you being like, dude, my new video, or it wasn't even a new video, because I think it was like your Godzilla one from like 6 months earlier.
Yeah, the Godzilla video was 6 months old when it blew up. And yeah, it blew up about like a month after we started the podcast.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're like, that's our the video we did together. It's not my highest viewed video anymore. And so, yeah, I mean, that was less than a year ago. So you had a big 2021.
I really did. And it's crazy too, because like the Godzilla video blew up for like 2 weeks, you know, that it got crazy views in those 2 weeks, but it really just it was like a two to 3 week period where it was blowing up. And now like my Berserk video like blew up in August and is still going, you know, not at like the volume it was going before, but it got 1,000 views in the last 2 days. You know, it's still pumping out views. So yeah, it's been a really big year for my channel. And like, I talked about it a bit in my new cross country video, but like, I don't like how few videos I got out this last year, but I'm really happy with the videos I did get out.
Yeah, no, I think it's good. You definitely focused on quality over quantity, and I think that shows.
Yeah. So yeah, I didn't want to like steal the celebration to talk about my own channel just now, but yeah, kind of a big anniversary for me as well. And reflecting back, it was a crazy year for my channel, and I'm really hoping to keep it going this year.
Nice. Well, good. I don't expect any less from you. Your quality has really gone up.
Thank you.
So you want to?
Should we just get into it?
Yeah, let's just deep dive into some of these titles. I like that this is what you wanted to talk about. I like it.
I thought it'd be fun. Because some of our early episodes, like I look at the titles and I'm like, holy shit, I forgot we talked about XYZ.
Yeah.
So, but I figure like we'll start it off easy, and we're gonna start in the present and work towards the past, because that sounds more exciting to me. So our last episode 50, which was this space NFT is definitely working with NASA, and I thought that was a great episode.
Yeah. Oh,
the whole NFT thing has been a really good running joke, I feel like.
I know, and the whole thing is like that was not at all planned. Like it just kind
of kept coming up.
Right. Yeah, it all kind of happens naturally, and I think that kind of sums up what the podcast has been, you know, like,
oh, for sure.
I know we've talked about how early on, like at least the first couple episodes, we like kind of discussed what we wanted to talk about ahead of time. So, you know, we didn't run into the situation where, you know, we just had like a bunch of dead air and didn't have anything to talk about. And I mean, that was fine, but I think we started having a lot more fun with it once we just kind of left it more up to chance. And, you know, like we've said before, you and I both come in with a few ideas of things we might want to talk about, but we generally don't discuss those things with each other.
No. And I definitely agree with you. I think like the spontaneity of it, spontaneity, I don't know what the right way to say that is a lot better. And like, you know, as good as it is to kind of like plan ahead, I think sometimes if we like over plan it, we end up like not diving into subjects that as far as we should or could, or we wouldn't go on tangents that we would otherwise. So I think like the more free form improv approach we have now is really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it probably was necessary to have a topic at least in the beginning because it was so new, but
yeah, I didn't expect our banter to evolve as much as it has. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I kind of didn't know how.
I thought we had good banter to begin with. I didn't think there was like much room for it to go up, but I was wrong.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree with you. Yeah, you know, like it early on, like I knew we could have a little banter back and forth, but you know, I didn't know that we were going to be able to fill an hour every week with just, you know, going back and forth, like either ripping on each other or ripping on NFTs or some other reoccurring topic that we have.
Fucking Ohio.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. So yeah, you're right. It's been good. It's been the banter for sure has been better than I would have expected.
Yeah, me too. All right, next up we got episode 49, The Philosophy of D's Nuts. I don't even really remember what led to that title. It's only been 2 weeks since that episode came out. I don't even really remember what led to that title. I think we were talking about the lifespan of memes and how D's Nuts has become such like a part of our society. That's where that came from.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. But we talked for a decent
and I think
amount of time.
That was a great episode for us because we talk about D's Nuts a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, we love that. I mean, I bought that sweatshirt that says Deets Nuts from that
it's fucking funny.
That Dietz and Watson company, which their marketing team is freaking genius.
Yeah, man. I love when they just roll with the meme and go with that shit. Like I think I talked about it in whatever episode I was on the road, but like on the road in like more of the western but not quite fully to the west part of the country, there's this like gas station chain called Come and Go, and they just printed t-shirts with that logo on it because they knew people thought it's hilarious.
Yeah, it's kind of like I'm sure you probably remember these or at least saw them, but you were too young to remember when they blew up. It was like a huge thing when I was in high school. But the like 7-Up t-shirts that like on the front would say like make 7 and on the back would say up yours. Like make 7 up yours, like you should drink it. And that was like a huge thing.
That sounds great, man. I think like 7-Eleven has like a pretty damn good logo for a gas station. They got like good marketing.
Yeah. No, I got
not a gas station, a convenience store, but like
right.
I have one of my Gundam kits that I haven't built is a 7-Eleven branded Gundam that they sold in Japanese 7-Elevens.
Did you ever end up getting in? I don't know if we talked about this on the cast or not, but weren't you going to get like a Gundam that was like a giant cup of ramen? Was that a thing?
Ramen?
Yeah, maybe it might have been my friend Dan because he's obsessed with ramen, but I didn't think he was into Gundam. I thought it was a Gundam branded item, but I think it was like a giant like 5 foot tall cup of ramen noodles.
Oh yeah, there's like a top ramen model kit. No, I don't have that myself, but I have seen it.
Okay, right on.
But yeah, it's like the innards of a cup noodle that you just build the same way you would build a Gundam.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So I wasn't completely crazy. That did exist at some point. Nice.
Yeah, just not in my hands at the moment, but Episode 48. We're pissed about NFTs, which obviously started off the whole NFT meme, and it feels like it's been going longer than that, but
Yeah. I think we actually might have mentioned NFTs in the hentai episode. I think that might have been where they got started.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, you're right. Because we brought it up again and talked about it some more. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so funny that NFTs really that's one of our only really reoccurring topics that we've like continued in like a narrative format at all, really.
Yeah, unfortunately I don't have any NFT stories this week.
I don't either. And I mean, we don't need to make this entire podcast about NFTs every week. It just happened to work out that way for like a month.
Yeah. Man, I here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take this episode's thumbnail and mint it as an NFT, and then we'll sell it to you guys.
Hell yeah, bro.
Speaking of thumbnails, though, I do quite like the thumbnail that we went with that episode. It's just an NFT with a save image as on top of it. I made that for like slapped the save image as on top of an NFT, and I thought it was really funny. I thought it was clever.
Yeah, I like that. Oh, well, the week before that, episode 47, Hentai 101 with Captain Mack. That's
a classic episode.
That is a classic. And that did not. It turned out better than I thought it did at the time.
I thought it was great from the start, man. I felt so happy with that episode.
Yeah, no, you completely just ran with that. You owned that whole episode.
You know what? I didn't talk about this on the podcast either, but it's fucking infected my stream too.
Really? Like your viewers keep bringing up hentai all the time?
Yeah, well, like I'm not bringing it up, but like my chat keeps like mentioning it. I was playing a game the other day, and I didn't have a lot to talk about related to the game itself, so I was just like conversating, and like Scorpion came in and mentioned that episode, and he was like, "I'm surprised like you were this into hentai," and I was like, "I make jokes about hentai constantly. How did you not know I was into hentai?" And it turned into like legitimately like half an hour of the live stream me like discussing a hentai with my chat.
Oh, that's great.
Oh, it was good shit.
Oh, that's good. It's good that you've got us some of that like crossover, some crossover viewers and listeners.
Yeah, and you know what? Like the worst part too is because this has become such a meme on my channel, it gave me a really good idea for a video that I might do that I'm not going to talk about now because I don't want to spoil it if I do end up doing it. But if I do it, it's gonna make some waves, I think.
Nice. Oh, I like it.
Oh, and you know what? You know what else? Like I used the community posting function on my main channel to post a poll asking about people's favorite kinds of hentai.
Oh my god. Yeah, you did. I saw that. I think I even responded to it.
Did you? If you did, I don't think it popped up, but
I mean, I think I just gave it a vote. I didn't like comment on it or anything, but
oh, gotcha. So there was one comment that someone left I thought was really funny. Someone just asked me what possessed you to ask this, and I responded, "What drove Galileo to look up and ponder whether or not the Earth was really the center of our solar system? To be human is to pursue knowledge, my friend."
Oh, that's fucking great. Oh shit. All right.
Good old hentai, am I right?
Right?
Then we got episode 46, What's the Stick Used in Soccer? Which was like very funny story, I think.
Yeah, that's such a goofy question. Like I understand it, but it's still just really goofy.
It was very funny. Like I like I said in that episode, like we were in like a pretty like nice kind of like quiet restaurant, and I was just busting out laughing because I couldn't handle that question.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. Episode 45. That was a really good episode.
Yeah, I agree.
Pajama Boy in the Pyramid Scheme.
Which is a great title, first of all.
It is. It's fantastic. But yeah, that was when we just like impromptu went off on like a whole bunch of stories about customers that we used to work with.
Right, regulars to a store like World Market are like by nature weird. So like I think that episode proved that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we covered a lot of the regular weirdos.
Episode 44. Hey dude, want some buffalo chicken ice cream? I loved that bit. I thought that joke was so funny.
Yes. Yeah. That was a good one. And we carried that over into like another episode too. We had talked about making like another flavor of ice cream at some point. The thing, I brought up like Thanksgiving ice cream, I think maybe a couple weeks later or something like that.
Right, yeah.
But I thought about the buffalo chicken thing, the buffalo chicken ice cream recently, because you had asked me if I was going to murder someone, how would I go about doing it? And I didn't particularly have a great answer. And you said that you would probably just poison them with some buffalo chicken ice cream.
Oh, that's right. I do remember this.
But and this isn't an original thought. I've heard this before, but using an icicle is apparently like a thing that people have thought a lot about because your murder weapon just melts.
And then you got no fingerprints.
Right, exactly. Yeah. You either stab someone with it or you could just like beat them over the head with a giant icicle.
Yeah, I really don't know the logistics of doing something like that. I'd have to test it. I'll test it. I'll get back to you on that.
Okay. All right. Well, let me know. Episode 43. I fucking love this title.
It's a really good title.
It's called Pissing in the Spit Bucket. And for any of you that didn't listen to it or don't remember, the reference there is I was in a work meeting and we were sampling wine and we had spit buckets on the table in case you didn't want to swallow your wine sample. And I had to get up and go to the bathroom in the middle of the meeting. And we joked about how I should have just got up and pissed in the spit bucket.
I don't see how that would be an issue,
Yeah, I don't either. It really just makes sense to me, but
it does. But no, a really good title. Like so how this works is while I listen to and edit the episode, I write down title ideas and then I send them to Mike and he just like chooses the one he likes or the ones that he likes and then I choose from that. And I feel like my titling game has gotten better as this podcast has progressed too.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
we've had some really good titles over the past couple months, and that's a really strong one.
Yeah, Pissing in the Spit Bucket's a good one.
And then following that up, we have episode 42, which is How Hard Is It to Get a Laundry Machine? Not a great title, but a really good story, I felt.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was so pissed about that at the time.
Rightfully so. That was a really obnoxious situation.
Oh, it was absurd. Oh, I don't even want to think about it, man. The worst part too is like they told me, I never mentioned this. They told me over the phone that like they were getting me like a new model laundry machine too, and the one they delivered is like scratched and has some rust buildup. Ugh.
God.
So that was a complete fucking lie. And the dryer doesn't even dry well. It has to dry for so long to get my shit dry. It's like they're not even like good.
Yeah. Yeah, my dryer kind of sucks. In most cases I have to run it 2 cycles to get my clothes dry. So that's not energy efficient whatsoever, but it beats having to go to the laundromat. So I'll take it
any day. I spend so much more money to have a laundry machine than I would going to a laundromat, and I do not regret that.
Yeah. Yeah, laundromats are the fucking worst.
Episode 41, another really great title. Were you going to say something about that episode?
No, not about that episode, but I'm like looking at the list as we go through. And there's like a streak of like a month where we have some really good titles coming up here.
I agree. I agree. And this next one is Hey Trucker, Need a Snuggle Buddy, which is another really good one. You know what was funny about that episode? Besides the story itself, it was like surprisingly difficult to find like a decent image of a truck cab.
Okay.
Like all of the like good pictures I could find were like either way too low resolution, or like the way it was composed, you couldn't see like the bed in the back and the chair in the front at the same time, so you couldn't really tell that it was a trucker cab. I had to go through a lot of like images before I found one that actually worked for that thumbnail.
Nice. You do a good job coming up with thumbnail images. I'll give you that.
Thanks. Considering how lazy I'm lazy about the descriptions. I just use Wikipedia to make the descriptions, and then for photos, I just go on Google Images and try to find some fucking stock photo. But I do try to make sure they're like decent, relevant images at least.
Yeah. No, they usually work. Episode 40. We're all Ken Seed.
That's a great fucking story, man.
Yeah. God, fucking
all
Mark.
of us are like Ken Seed.
Like, do you think he even knew what he was really saying when he said that?
No, you could tell.
God.
You could tell when he said that he was like, yeah, this is a logical thing to say.
Yeah. I don't remember if I told Amy the title before the episode came out, or if she just happened to see like my like Instagram post or whatever. 'Cause she'll copy and like share whenever I add it to like a story on her account. But she was like cracking up. She was like, "What does this mean?" Oh, and I was just
gotta listen to find out, baby.
Yep, that's exactly what I said. Oh, yeah. We're all Ken Seed.
Episode 39. We know too much about Steve's cheeks.
Yeah. We
So this episode, the thumbnail I went with was like the very classic plumber with his ass crack out. And the really funny thing about it is when I put that image in the thumbnail, I blurred the ass crack because I knew YouTube wouldn't like it.
Yeah.
But I didn't blur it enough because the thumbnail got taken down and I had to redo it.
Yeah. I remember I was like at work and I saw like I had a notification from our email account for the show, and yeah, it was like YouTube saying that there was an issue with our video.
Oh man, it's not even like no one's going and jerking off to that thumbnail. It's a plumber's ass crack, man. It's not that lewd,
right? Come on.
Or maybe someone's into that. Maybe someone has a severe plumber crack fetish. Someone has to. If there's someone who has a foot fetish, or someone who has a plumber crack fetish.
Oh, yeah, guaranteed. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm 100% sure that has to exist. Somebody's got a fetish for everything. I hope that person's
listening to this podcast.
You never know.
More power to you. I hope you enjoy the plumber ass cracks. Just don't jerk off to my thumbnails because YouTube doesn't like that.
Yeah. And then we've got episode 38, shipping Ohio to the Gobi Desert,
which I still think is a really valid thing to do.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it really makes sense. And I'm looking at the description. That's the episode where we alienated like Ohio and Christians in the same episode.
Mike almost got a sick new job. We alienate more Ohioan and Christian viewers and talk about some better options for the voice of Mario. Who did we say would be a better choice for Mario? Did we?
I know you gave me a couple guesses, and I remember one of them was John Cena and one was Gordon Ramsay.
That's right. Yeah. Man. Oh, that's great. Good shit.
Yeah. That was a good one.
Oh, and I forgot to mention, but the Hey Trucker Need a Snuggle Buddy, that was the first episode we did remote. So we're back to podcast that we recorded in my old kitchen.
Yeah. That was a good time.
That was a time. Yeah. I miss that kitchen, man. I miss that whole apartment. Like, my new apartment is fine, but I really loved my old apartment.
Oh. Well, you'll get used to the new one.
You know what I think? I think part of the problem is I'm not huge on how I have my furniture laid out here. I think I have to rethink it.
Okay. Yeah, do a little redecorating.
Yeah. Because I don't know. It's fine, but it's not like perfect, you know?
Right on. I gotcha.
So then episode 37, we have 2 bedrooms for $500. What a deal. And that was when I was struggling desperately to find housing and was dealing with some scammers.
That was a great story and topic. Maybe not our strongest title, but good episode.
No, a great episode. I agree. That story was hilarious. Like, I absolutely love how when I called him out on how cheap it was, he was just kind of like, "Oh, you think so? What if I told you it was a perfectly reasonable price? Then you'd say it was unreasonable."
Right.
I swear to God, like they had to have like done no research on the area it was in, because if they had, they would have known that like even $1,200 a month would have been a perfectly reasonable price.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Maybe even itself a bit small, but like whatever.
Yeah. And then we have episode 36. What do you mean the truck is impounded? Which, again, maybe not the funniest title, but that whole story was great.
It's hilarious. It still fucking blows me away to think we had people visiting from another store to help us with this fucking truck and that the asshole got it impounded.
Yeah. Ugh.
So many. It's so funny how we've burned through so many funny work stories, and I'm sure there's still some that we haven't gotten to.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, 100%. I mean, we worked together for a long time.
Yeah.
And I mean, granted, they're not all going to be like pure gold.
That tier.
Yeah, but I'm sure there's still plenty of stuff we can come up with for quite a while to come still.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Episode 35, polyester shirts and cousin grinding.
I love that title.
I love that title, and I love the origin of it, because you fucking told this whole story about Mike wearing a polyester shirt and grinding against somebody he thought may have been his cousin, and somehow never connected the dots that it was the exact same scenario as that episode of How I Met Your Mother.
I know.
I was sitting there like, Mike is a massive How I Met Your Mother fan. How has he not noticed this before?
Yeah, I think it's just one of those things where, you know, and I know I've seen that episode multiple times, but I think it had just been a while since I had seen it. And like the original story with Mike, you know, that happened, God, like at least 20 years ago now.
Yeah.
And then so he just like brought it up as a retread, and I didn't make the connection. There were so many years in between the story happening and seeing the episode and then him bringing it up again. But I'm glad you made that connection. That was great.
Did Mike ever mention that? Did he mention what he thought of that episode, or what he thought of that like connection?
I don't think he ever watched How I Met Your Mother, so I don't think the connection made any kind of real impression on him.
Damn, Mike, you're missing out, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Episode 34, the special episode.
That title isn't great on its own, but when you know the context behind it, I think it's really funny.
Yeah, when we shit on Hershey's Special Dark for a couple episodes.
Yeah, and I don't know if you noticed, but in that episode, I also so the way I format our titles, I put the episode number, the title name, and then at the end I write Breakroom Nachos Podcast. In that episode only, I titled it Breakroom Nachos Special Podcast.
Oh, nice. No, I didn't notice that. Oh, that's cool.
I'm still pissed about that. Their dark chocolate isn't special. They should rename it Hershey's dog shit chocolate.
Right?
Hershey's mediocre dark.
Yeah. It's really just dark. That's it. That's all it is. And it's not even that dark.
No, not really. But you're weird. You like that 99% cocoa bullshit, man.
Okay. No, I don't like the 99, but I could seriously fuck with some like 75.
Someone we worked with was like way into that 99, and I couldn't stand that shit.
Yeah, no, it was gross. Yeah, it just tasted like dirt.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Okay. Episode
33. We got Climbing the Girlfriend Leaderboards, which I think is a great title too.
That's a great title and a great story as well. That was pretty funny.
That's such like an of the times story too.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was such like a late 90s, early 2000s high school situation.
So relatable at the same time, because I imagine if I'd been in that situation, I would have been like, the girlfriend leaderboard would have really mattered to me.
Oh yeah, of course. It's like we talked about in one of the episodes about how it's sad and also a huge relief after high school when you realize that nothing in high school mattered.
Yeah.
But yeah, in high school, that was a huge deal. But afterward, you're like, well, I don't know why I was concerned about that. That was trash.
That girl kind of sucked too. She was like playing you guys against each other. She was like openly admitting like, you guys are better or worse than one another. Fight amongst yourselves.
Yeah, for sure. That absolutely happened.
I hope she grew up to become a single mom who was abandoned by the father.
So, all right, funny story.
No.
No. So she does not have children, but she just recently got married, like this last year.
Well, you mentioned this in the episode. The guy looks like he has no soul, right?
He looks like he may or may not have had a stroke at some point, which is not funny if to anyone who has had a stroke or if he did, but I think that's really just how he looks. But yeah, no, he looks like he's kind of dead. Like she's sucked all the life out of him. And
he wasted too much energy trying to climb that leaderboard, dude.
And Mike will send me Mike is friends with her on Facebook. And he'll send me like her status updates like all the time, and they're so ridiculous. She'll post like 5 selfies a week of the two of them together, and it'll be like, "Oh my God, we're out to dinner," and it's like, you don't got to do that every time you go out to dinner. And she posted one that was like an update of her 2021 and how great it was. And she went through every month and listed something that was great, which, okay, some of them it was like, hey, we got married. Then it was like a month later, we went on our honeymoon. And like, okay, fine. Those are valid things to be happy about. But for February, she just put Valentine's Day. And then I don't know, whatever month it was, like I don't know, May or June or something. She was like, oh, the weird part is his name is also Michael. I didn't
Of
tell
course
you.
it is. Of course it is. Why wouldn't it be?
Right? And she was like, Michael's birthday. And I sent Mike a tag response and I was like, she makes it out like he doesn't have a birthday every single year. Like, congratulations, you had a birthday this year. God,
in August, I got a really good sandwich.
Pretty much. Yeah, that's pretty much exactly what it was.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Goofy shit. All right, so we climb the girlfriend leaderboards. Episode 32, whole lot of brown in there.
Classic.
Great title and one of our favorite work stories.
One of our best work stories. Oh my God. If you haven't heard episode 32, highly recommend you do.
Yeah. Yeah, that is one of our best stories. And that was one that we had discussed early on that we wanted to bring up just because it is so good. But we were like,
so funny.
But we were like, we gotta hold off for a minute on this. We can't do this right away.
Yeah, for sure. God, I don't really have anything else to say about that episode. Just go listen to it if you haven't already, man.
Yeah. Episode 31, Rate My Mommy.
Classic. Man, Austin, what an absolute alpha gamer. Just going along with the bit on that one.
Hell yeah.
Love that, dude.
Yeah. I'm we may have to take a pause in the podcast for a second because I think Lily's starting to do her poopy power walk. But
oh shit.
Literally, oh shit. Yeah, let's I'll give it another minute. Let's go through a couple titles and we'll see if I end up having to go out or not.
Okay. Episode 30, Would an Extra Inch Sweeten the Deal? Which I thought was a great title and a great story.
Yeah, because that happened I think it was 3 weeks in a row where I kept getting those texts about making my sausage larger, which was the exact verbiage they used. Yeah. That was a solid one.
Episode 29 is The Prank, Dead or Alive. That whole saga is hilarious. The fact that it started earlier on in the podcast and then came back way later once they listened to the podcast. That was perfect.
Yeah. That's one of my favorite episodes. I freaking loved that one.
It's so funny to me that that's how they found out. I feel like there was no better way for them to find out.
Yeah.
So fucking indirect.
Yeah, for those of you, if you guys haven't listened to that, listen to, I believe it's episode 6, where I tell the original story, and then 29 is the outcome of that whole prank.
It's too long for us to go over now, but definitely give that a listen.
Yeah. 28, the mob remodeled our store.
Another great story. It's just so many weird things happen in off hours and overnights.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. All right. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to take Lily out.
Okay, go ahead. Hey guys, Mike just left for a minute to take his dog out because she was needing to do some poopies, and I figured I'd just take this moment while he wasn't here to kind of mention something, bring something up, and I think this is probably the most appropriate time to mention it. This was a long time ago. We had a sponsorship from I believe it was an insurance company, and it was insuring your cock and balls. And it's one of those things, it's a delicate topic to talk about because you have all these contracts you have to sign when it comes to sponsorships. And this is a service that Mike used. because he had just a horribly deformed penis, and the insurance helped him afford the surgery to get it fixed. But here's the thing. That was a scam, and we didn't know it at the time, and I'm really sorry for advertising it to you. And again, I could get in trouble for saying this, but I feel like you as our listeners have a right to know. Mike's penis came out even more deformed than it already was as a result of, because like this insurance is only able to be taken by certain doctors, and the only doctors that will take this insurance are terrible. So Mike, used this insurance policy to like get surgery for his horribly deformed penis and came out the other end even worse off. He sends me pictures of it every day. He's so upset about it. It's been months. Every day he sends me a picture of his horribly deformed penis, and I have to run to the bathroom at work and vomit because I don't want to see it, but I want to be supportive of my friend, and he's just really distraught about it. So I'm sorry. I am. I'm sorry about that, guys. Don't use that service. If I could go back in the episode and like cut out us advocating for them, I would. But unfortunately, because of the contracts we're under, I can't. But just know, don't use that service, please. There's got to be better, more reliable penis insurance out there for you.
All right, bro, I'm back.
All right, cool. So we're just gonna jump back into it.
Yeah, let's go.
Episode 27, Mack is afraid of short people.
That's when your coworker scared you in the walk-in, right?
Scared the fucking shit out of me, dude.
Oh. And the funny thing is, I mean that's a pretty decent title, but that title is the thing that set Ken's wife to like question like anything about the podcast. Like they hadn't listened to anything at that point. And I was like, you should start listening. We talk about you guys sometimes. And then that's when they started listening.
I really like that episode. I like that title. I thought that story was great. That's a good one.
Yeah, I like the story a lot. Episode 26. I love this story. So you like it raw. That story is great, and I love that the thumbnail I chose was just a bunch of raw potatoes because it works to the story's favor as well. Yeah. Oh my god, that's a great episode. Yeah. Oh fuck. What's he up to, man? Jake was telling me. Oh, I don't know if we ever mentioned this guy's name. I don't think we said his name on the podcast, so I feel okay talking about this. But Jake told me while I was helping him move that he stopped working at World Market because he got a sugar mommy. Are you serious? That's what I've been told. I have no proof to back that up, but I trust Jake. Oh, damn. I'm going to have to see if I can like deep dive into his social media. Like hopefully there's some pics or something. Dude, the weirdest thing about that guy is despite what you would expect, that dude could get it. Yeah. Well, because, okay, remember we had talked about how he kind of had that like delivery where he was just like monotone and would like say off the wall shit. And he would catch people so off guard that they like kind of weren't always sure if he even said what they thought he said. And I think that worked in his favor. It did, yeah. What an interesting guy. Yeah, there was one time, like, I wish I could have remembered the story, but there was some sort of like joke he like joked with a customer about like going out back and giving him a BJ. That's right. Yeah. And then they offered to do it. Yeah. We never told that story. We didn't. We did not tell that story. They joked about like paying for the not they like didn't have enough money for what they were paying for, and
I said his name. I'll bleep it out. He just threw off some joke about like accepting other forms of payment or something like that, and they legitimately offered to like take him behind the store and suck his dick. It was not a joke from them.
Yeah, and then he was like, and then it also, I'm sure, wasn't a joke from him because he was like, my break's in 15 minutes. I can meet you out back.
God damn.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, man. He could get it. You're right.
Oh man, it's so fucking funny. I can't believe I never told that story, dude.
Dude had some game.
Yeah. Yeah, you wouldn't expect it by some of the weird things that he did or said, but he could get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Episode 25. Why are you docking points? I'm right.
I remember the whole thing where we talked about like the class you were taking, but I don't remember anything else we talked about in that episode, to be honest.
I absolutely don't either. I remember that story because it was one that I was involved in, and it's a great story, but
yeah, for sure.
Oh my God, I didn't think this was this long ago. Episode 24 is Mack's made mistake.
Yeah, that was July. That was 6 months ago.
Well, actually, that makes sense because I made that promise on a 24-hour live stream, which would have been in June or July. I don't know.
Yeah,
I guess that makes sense, actually.
Yeah. Oh, that was a good one.
Oh, yeah. Episode 23, Get Off the Balcony, My Balls Are Out, which was Sean's guest episode.
Yeah. Yeah, that was kind of fun. It was fun having...
That was a good episode.
It was fun. It's been fun, like, the couple times we've had other people, like, on the podcast. But that was cool because, like, all three of us were in the room together.
Yeah, for sure. And that it was really, I didn't mention at the time, but it was really weird for me to be even talking about stories like that in front of him because, like, him and I don't have the kind of relationship where, like, I talk about my sex life with him at all.
Okay.
Like, he doesn't know most of the women I've dated or, like, any of my, like, weird experiences. So it was kind of odd to even be talking about that around him, but I thought it made for some great stories.
Yeah, no. And I think that was a pretty decent episode. I really wasn't sure how that was going to go. Like, you didn't tell me, and I just like came over and there was Sean, and we just recorded, and I didn't really know much about him. I mean, I still don't really know much about him, but no, we were able to fill up an episode, so yeah, it worked out.
Sean is great. Sean is great because he's one of those people, and I slightly envy this power of his. He's one of those people who can just get along with anybody.
That's cool.
He's a very, like, easy person to talk to and be friends with. So I did not think it was gonna be an issue.
Yeah.
Episode 22, Mike's busted balls. This is our first sponsored episode.
Right. And God,
I kind of forgot about this.
Yeah, I don't know any of the other topic in there, but I just remember, like, you had, like, mentioned something about you, like, gave the Stinky Peas testy insurance.
Yeah, that's what it was called.
Spot. And then I didn't know this, but I got up to take a piss in the middle of the episode.
Yeah.
And you just kept it going and talking about how destroyed my testicles are.
I talked about how your dick was so messed up you were actively taking advantage of this service. Oh, that's a great bit, man.
Good times.
Oh.
Episode 21, Who's the Hottest Cartoon Dad?
Pretty unanimous discussion there. We were pretty much in agreement that it was Mr. Incredible.
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah, dude.
There was no argument there.
No.
And I don't think there needs to be.
No. Episode 20, How Do Cinnamon Toast Crunch Reproduce? That was pretty...
I have no idea what that's in reference to.
The only thing that I remember about that is I don't know why we brought it up, but you had mentioned how like there were the commercials where like the little squares would eat each other and like cannibalize. And I think that somehow played into them reproducing or something.
It must have. I do remember that, but I do not remember what the title is actually in reference to.
No. Nope. That's kind of fun.
Episode 19, are professional gamers playing a sport? That was a heated episode.
Yeah, that was one of our biggest debates we've had.
Yeah, that like I don't remember how long we talked about it, but it was like the majority of the episode, I think.
Yeah, I think you brought it up kind of early and we talked about it for quite a while and then we maybe got off onto something else and then I think we both like it was still like the wheels were still turning in our head and I think we both like came up with a new like theory for explaining our opinion and like came back with it.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, that was a good one.
That's a good episode, yeah. Episode 18, the Order of the Arrow is definitely not a cult.
Yeah.
You know what's great about this episode too is the thumbnail I used. I went digging into one of my old hard drives where I still have all of the photos I used for slideshows that I made working for that camp. That is one of the pictures that I was given by a parent.
That's awesome.
That's not like a picture I found on Google. The guy wearing like the red outfit in that thumbnail is my friend Trevor, and the kid he's like talking to, I taught that kid merit badges.
Oh, dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't have had any reason to mention that to you, but yeah, that's like one of my pictures. It's inside the dining hall of the camp that I worked for, like, and man, that was a great episode too. I love talking about that Order of the Arrow shit. It's so because it sounds so absurd from the outside because it is absurd.
Oh yeah, because it's definitely a cult.
100%.
Oh. Episode 17, just ignore the monoxide detector.
Another episode in our series of poor safety advice.
Yeah. And you vaguely used Luna as a test as to whether or not it was safe to be
I wasn't using Luna as a test. It was the fact that Luna wasn't dead that made me think it wasn't actually going on.
Right. No, I gotcha. I'm screwing with you, but yeah, that part of it was pretty funny.
Oh man. Episode 16, a big fat birthday dick cake, which is just a really good memory of mine, really.
Yeah, that was when you were at camp, right?
Yeah, my one of my last years working at the summer camp was all coincided with my 18th birthday, and I convinced my friend to make a dick cake for me. Kyler, who was on the most recent 24-hour live stream, I think was there and eating that cake with me too, because he remembered that.
Nice. Oh, episode 15, Sean and the Rogaine Shake.
What a classic.
That dream was hilarious, and also, I'm looking at the description. That's when I talked about when I on multiple occasions had sleepovers at Mike's and got him to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, and the bathroom light, the bathroom door was open and the light was off, and Mike's dad was just in there dropping a fat one.
That's right. Oh, what a great episode.
Yeah, that's some goofy shit right there.
Oh my God. Episode 14, just ignore the fire alarm. Beautiful episode there.
Yep. Yeah, that was the not necessarily the first in our series of poor life choices, but that was not necessarily the smartest choice to ignore the fire alarm. But I remember we both had that situation happen within like a couple weeks of each other.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we didn't know going in either. It just kind of happened to work out that way.
Yeah. Like
and we both decided it was better to just ignore it.
Right. Right. Oh. Episode 13 was our longest, hardest episode yet.
I don't remember the context of that title. Like I know it is a longer episode. It's an hour and a half, but I don't remember the context behind that title at all.
So
was it just that it was a long episode?
So you went in with a plan. I actually remember this. You came up with the title before we recorded the episode, and you wanted to craft an episode around using that title.
I did.
Yeah.
Oh, was that the episode I forced us to not make dick jokes?
Yeah, and whenever we did, we had to extend the podcast.
That's right.
Yeah. Oh.
Okay. Yeah, because that was the era when we were like really not getting off of those jokes, and I was like listening to the episode as the editor. I was like, this is getting old. We gotta like force something new out of us, and I think it was the right decision because we talked about recently how we have moved away from that, and the podcast is better for it.
Oh, I agree. We
at the time you were pretty apprehensive about that, though.
Yeah. Well, and the only reason I was honestly apprehensive about it at the time is, and I think I had mentioned this in like a previous episode where we've talked about, how we've kind of evolved it. But we had, aside from constant dick jokes, we were coming up, we'll be discussing them here. We had a really good string of like just funny stories in episodes. And it kind of coincided with us getting like 4 times the amount of listens we had been getting previous to that. And I just remember going into that episode, and I had kind of like planned a few things out, and then you like dropped that on me like as we started recording, and I was like, well, fuck, I have nothing to talk about. None of this is gonna work. So
all of my stories are about penises.
Pretty much. And speaking of that, episode 12 was professional dick pics.
That joke is so fucking funny.
Right?
That joke, like, obviously coming off of like that episode where I wanted us to move away from those jokes a bit. That joke in particular was so fucking funny. Like the concept of it, the ideas we came up with for poses and stuff was so fucking funny.
Yeah, I remember one of them was like just being out in a field, like cradling your balls, like
a pregnant lady with her stomach. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so fucking funny.
Oh, I love it.
Episode 11, spent my stimmy in my sister's bed, which was intentionally misleading on my part.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. But it worked. That was great. No, I love that one.
Yeah, for sure.
Talking about Bradley and how he used to have to pay his sister a fee if he went in her room without her permission. And it was right at that time that we got like a stimulus check. So it all just kind of coincided.
Yeah, for sure. Episode 10, $1 billion business plan. That still is like, that episode is like one of the hardest times I've laughed recording this podcast.
I was going to say that's one of my favorite episodes that we've done. It was one of those things I had wanted to bring that up. The story about the $1 billion business plan, the steam cleaning vaginas in the back of a van. And that it synced up so perfect because we had been talking. I've listened to this episode a couple times just because I do think it's a really funny episode. And you had been talking about that old roommate that you had, and how awful she was about cleaning. And you were like, yeah, she like steam cleaned the baseboards. And I was like, oh shit, you just mentioned steam clean. And I was like, I'm going with it. And I was like, yeah, she probably steam cleaned her vagina. And you were like, dude.
And I had no idea what you were talking about.
Yeah, no, it You wouldn't have, but yeah, that was a good one. That's also the episode where we talk about how many kids we could beat up in a fight.
That's great.
Yeah.
Episode 9, Mads Mikkelsen is a cannibal. That's a really good episode.
Yeah, that's a good one too. I actually kind of remember probably more about these like first like 10 or 15 because I was at the time I was like really into like trying to listen and see like, okay, what can we do better? So
I'm with you. Like they're becoming fresher to my memory the farther back we go.
Yeah. So I've listened to all these. I've listened to all these early ones a couple times, and that is a really good episode.
Episode 8. Who likes banana Laffy Taffy? Fucking Crystal.
Fucking Crystal and your boy Sean.
Disgusting. Not even really humans, I wouldn't say.
Right. Do you remember when we made the joke about how they needed to stretch a banana Laffy Taffy and eat it Lady in the Tramp style?
I didn't remember that, but that's great.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite jokes from that.
My YouTube Studio app just crashed, so if you can read the next episode for me.
Yeah, right on. Episode 7, Andy and the Raccoon.
I put more effort into that thumbnail than I have any of the others.
Yeah, it's a good thumbnail.
Because fuck, man, like the joke of that title was that Mike thought of Guardians of the Galaxy as just Andy and the Raccoon, because it's played by Chris Pratt, who is Andy in Parks and Rec. And so what I did was I took like, there's this episode of Parks and Rec where Andy catches a possum, and then there's a scene where he's like playing a guitar and singing to it about how it's gonna die. And so I took a screenshot from that scene, and then I photoshopped Star-Lord's mask onto his face. I put a Groot in the background, and then this is where shit got really insane. I photoshopped Rocket Raccoon's head onto the possum's head, and then I went in and I recreated the possum's in a cage. I made sure that like the grid of the cage, I recreated it so it would be over on top of the raccoon head, so it would like mesh really well.
Yeah.
I put so much work into that thumbnail, and it looks great.
Yeah, you did a killer job with that. Episode 6, Lily's Poopy Power Walk, which oddly enough, that naturally got brought up today because it happened.
Yeah.
But that's a really good one, because that's the episode where we talk about when I pulled the prank on Ken.
Yeah. So that's a good setup for a much later payoff.
Yeah. I mean, the episode 6 is good, but like the two of those combined are freaking gold.
Yeah, for sure. Episode 5, Black Market Minutes with our friend Canant. That's a great episode too.
Yeah. So in subsequent listens to that one, there was some really funny stuff in there. Like the joke about like the Dutch basketball team playing with wooden Nikes.
Yeah. And that shit's so funny. And the joke about angry Frenchmen throwing stale baguettes through Canan's window is hilarious too.
Yeah, and we recycled that baguette joke a couple times.
Yeah, man.
I remember listening at the time because, you know, that was super new. It was only episode 5. I remember feeling like I didn't have a ton to talk about because you guys went pretty hard with games that episode. But there are some good jokes that ended up coming out of that.
For sure. I'm with you. I don't remember most of these episodes that well. I have not re-listened to these episodes like at all, but I do remember them being really solid.
Yeah. I think the only one that I've listened to, recently at all was the Lily's Poopy Power Walk. And that was like over the summer when we gave the update on that joke. I wanted to listen to it again and remember everything that we had talked about. But no, other than that, I haven't listened to these old ones in a while.
Oh man. Then we got episode 4. So your dad is your uncle.
Yeah.
And I never brought I told Mike about this, but I didn't bring it up on the podcast at all. I was a bit unsure what to do for the thumbnail of that episode. So what I did was I did some research to find a Renaissance era painting that references biblical incest for that thumbnail, and I think it's great.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one. I do think you told me that, but yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
And a story that made Jess very upset.
Yeah. Yeah. That was the episode where Mike we had Mike phone in, right?
Was it? I don't remember which episode that was. That would make sense, but I don't remember.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Mike and Jess phoned in for that one, which that was kind of cool. I wouldn't mind doing that again, although with our current setup, I don't know how fucky the audio would get trying to like have someone on speakerphone with this setup that we've got now. So
no, that wouldn't work. But what we could do is have Mike like get Discord on his phone and call into our call. We can do like more than one person on a call, Mike. Fucking boomer.
Okay, yeah, but then how are you going to record his audio for that?
He can record his own audio and send it to me.
Okay, well, hopefully that's not fucky. But yeah, we should try to get him on again.
Yeah, we could definitely do that. It'd be easy to pull off if Mike has a better understanding of technology than you.
I don't think he does, so we'll see.
Episode 3, can you boys handle all that pork? A classic story if ever there was one.
Classic. I'm kind of like skimming over some of the things that you put in the description. We talked about Bigfoot for like a good like 3 or 4 episodes in the beginning. That was fun.
I do remember that, yeah.
That was a reoccurring theme. And we talked. Oh,
that was the episode that I talked a lot about space. I remember that.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yep. Episode 2 was the classic story of when you slid off the roof and injured yourself.
And the episode's called Don't Sled Off the Roof.
Yep. Well, and that takes us back to episode 1. Can adults have sleepovers?
Which was a great topic for a first episode.
Yeah. I'm really glad we went into that one with a topic. Like I said, because I mean, you listen to like the first couple minutes of that, and we're like, what do you say? It's a brand new podcast.
Yeah, man, it's so fucking hard. Like with all my experience in like creating internet content, I still don't know how to like start a new series. It's so hard.
Yeah. No, I hear you. I can understand that. Whatever episode you started just recording and not telling me that you were recording, that ended up working out great.
Yeah, for sure.
I think we're a little more natural with the start now. We don't have to have like that random impromptu start, but that I still do think that's fun when we do that. But we've been doing this long enough now that we have ideas that we can bring to the table to start out an episode.
Yeah, because like it's the way we start a podcast is like not how someone would start a conversation is how I would describe it, right? Like when you start a conversation with someone, you're like, hey, what's going on? Hey, how you doing? How was your weekend? What have you been up to? And like, we don't do that because it's not great as like podcasty content. One of us usually starts with a story and we just launch right into it. And it's conversationally would not flow well, but podcast wise works perfect.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. It would be random if we just went in and just like, I just walked up to you and started telling you a story. Yeah. But
as a podcast, it's fine.
Yeah, it for sure works. Yeah. So those are our.
But that's it, man.
Those are our episodes, and we can't forget. We also had a couple videos in there along the way.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about them.
It was early. The production might not have been the greatest, but there were some decent gags in there. We drank hot dog water in one.
The hot dog water is a pretty good bit. Like the first video we did was fucked because my color correction was fucked up by accident, and like I actually forgot to plug in the microphone, so the microphone the audio fucking sucks on it.
Yeah.
And so the second video we did like sounds and looks a lot better, but I wasn't a huge fan of like what we did in that episode.
The hot dog one.
Yeah, it felt like we were redoing what we did in the first episode. I wasn't huge on it.
Yeah, it kind of was, but we did like feed each other double blind, and that was kind of funny.
That did create some funny moments.
Yeah, it for sure had its moments, but you're right. It wasn't stellar, but like we said, we had episodes in the beginning that weren't fantastic.
You are right. If we had kept up with videos, I'm sure they would have gotten better. But with the workload that my new style of videos have taken on, I don't think I could have possibly kept up making videos for the channel.
Right. Yeah. No, I got you there. That would have been a lot of work. I mean, because as it was, those took a long time, even just to record.
Yeah, they did.
Like several hours.
Yeah.
For like
it's
for like a 15-20 minute video. So
yes, it's a lot of work.
Yeah, I had something I wanted to send to you, and I've actually been wanting to send it to you for like almost a week now. And I wanted to wait to get your reaction on the podcast, but I think I'm going to end up saving it for next week.
This episode is much longer than I expected, so I think that's good.
Yeah. No, I'm kind of watching the time a little bit, and I know I took a little Lily bathroom break there, but we're still running pretty long.
But thank you for listening to the first year of Breakroom Nachos. We're going to work hard this year to make it another grand, fantastic one, and hopefully the episodes we can pump out this year are even better than the ones we did last year.
Yeah, hopefully we can have hopefully we've got a few surprises, and yeah, it hopefully just gets better from here on out.
You know, Mike, I was thinking about, and I'll toss this idea out there to kind of hear whether or not people would be interested in doing this. I was thinking about that whole virtual meetup thing you suggested, and it gave me an idea for an episode we could do.
Okay.
And this would be a bit difficult in terms of audio quality, but I know I could figure out a way to do it. I was thinking it might not be impossible if we had people come into our call while recording an episode on Discord and ask us questions or tell their own little stories, and we could cycle through a few different people.
That would be kind of cool.
So let us know in the comments if you'd be interested in doing a thing like that. If we get enough interest in doing it, we'll try to figure out a way to do it.
Yeah. No, for sure. That would be cool. Yeah, I'd like to, now that I've said before, I've been chiming in on your streams a little more often, and not that I really know a lot of your like regular viewers, but I mean, there's more of a relationship than there was when we started, certainly. So, it's kind of fun to interact with, Kyler and Sean and Microwave and Scorpion and your usual crew. So yeah, if we could do something like, reasonably live where we're at least interacting with them live and while we're recording, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah. So thanks for listening, everybody. And here's looking forward to another great year.
Yep. See you later.